and like we'll spend about probably the first 15-20 minutes in this sort of game. Just a lot of you, I think, would maybe enjoy the chance to meet somebody else and have some fun. So with that, I'll just give a quick introduction and then I'll introduce the game right after that. So let's see. Okay, everyone can see the screen, I hope. If you cannot, let the chat know. So the title of today's session is Don't Be the Hero, Be the Set. I'll explain more about that later, but the content or theme is really about creating customer-first products. Okay, so let's see. So quick introduction. My name's Sam. I grew up in Ipoh. I live in KL now, but over the past 10-15 years, I've lived all over Asia. So I've been based in Singapore, Hong Kong, China, and also covered Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan, and like lived in the US for a bit as well. I've had quite a mix of different I guess industries and sectors, but like the core themes have really been about like innovation, entrepreneurship, design, tech. So I've worked with startups. I've also worked at large companies like Samsung, helping to come up with new ideas for products and really like try to shift the way that innovation is done from just being about like let's make the products sharper, faster, better, but also thinking about how they become more relevant in the lives of their customers. So I'm based in KL these days. It's 2020. Like I think traveling has been a lot more challenging for most of us. And a lot of the work I do now is, which I'll talk a bit about today, is actually between stories and strategies. You know, so we spoke a bit earlier about brand stories and what they mean. And part of what I'll be talking about today is how you take some of the stories and think about what does this mean in terms of a strategy for how we build products, engage customers, and perhaps even build the kinds of systems and organizations that help you to achieve that. All right, so as promised, we're going to start with a game, and then like we'll discuss some of the insights from the game, and I'll share a bit more about like what we might have learned and can apply for the purpose of building products and thinking as founders and for startups. And then like we'll have a good amount of time at the end for Q&A and discussion. I think I enjoy a lot more like learning when we have questions that we can really unpack together. So hopefully towards the end, like you'll be a bit more warmed up because you'll have made some new friends and can have more of a chat together. Okay, so we're going to play a little like a bit of a cheeky like playful game called Super Fail. So all of you on your computers, you'll want, I'll do an introduction first, but like you also want to like pull up this link, bit.do/superfail in your browser. This leads to a Google slide where you'll be working on that. So what's Superfail? As many of you who are founders will have heard, like the majority of startups fail, but also it's cheaper to fail in imagination than in reality. So this is a bit of a game where we're kind of like almost like a creative agency would do, imagining some funny ways that a fictional startup might fail. So you'll be in teams of I think three people. Like I think Aisha is going to be separating the teams like later, not yet. I'll just run through the rules first, and then in those teams you'll be coming up with different ideas for like kind of telling a little funny story of how a startup fails. Okay, so here are the rules. So you're going to be broken up into small breakout groups numbered 1 to 6. Depending on the number of people, we only have 1 to 5. And then we'll give you about 15-20 minutes. And what you'll want to do is first you'll have maybe a few minutes just like say hi to each other with 3-4 people. I think you should be quite cozy. You know, like part of the fun of today's session at Sprout is just to also like meet other founders, new people. You know, you never know what sort of ideas you might get. And then on the page you'll be given a number of optional business types. So like you want to imagine a startup, like maybe your business type will be like, I'll show you an example later about like a tadika or a kindergarten. So imagine a startup, choose one of the types there. And then like the scenario, the page you have will also give you a few plot points. So plot points are kind of things like what happens to the startup, kind of like give you some sort of like things like the hero meets the villain combat. So there's some sort of thing like that. So look at those plot points, and then you'll have to create this super fail startup story for this based on the plot points provided. And then in the same slide, you have like a bit of a meme format, how it started, how it's going, which I'll show you an example of later. And then like you'll have some time to brainstorm that thing, create that game, And then like later on, we'll have all of you come back and we'll just go through what you have, and we'll go through some of the stories and like hopefully have a bit of fun, but also see what we can learn from them. Okay, so I'll give you an example, but once you're in the breakout groups, I just want to remind you to make sure you choose and find the right slide. So you'll have to remind your breakout groups number. So like I think like the team, Ayesha and all that will put your group numbering and your assignments in the chat as well. So you make sure you edit only the slide that's assigned to you. Okay, so I'll give you an example. This is a bad example because I'm sure you're all like you're all bright and you have more people than just one. So I'm sure you can come up with a better example than me. But so the name of this particular startup is Tadika Robojaya, right? And you can see we have this meme format, how it started, how it's going. So you can pick some pictures that tell that story. So the simple story of this Tadika Robojaya, which is this kind of like fourth industrial revolution kindergarten that some founder came up with, right? And the concept started as 3D printers in every classroom. We're going to like teach the whole world to like to make. And then, but in this case, you know, like Tadika Robojaya, perhaps less successful than Mereka has been. You know, they're not doing so well. They have like they didn't really invest in like the maintenance or equipment training. They just had a grand vision, and then you ended up with all this equipment broken down. You know, like when you have a bunch of kids using it without you know like without training, that happens, and then like eventually like it kind of died because of neglect. Right, so not a very funny story, but like you know, the bar is low, so I'm sure all of you can do better. So with that example, I'm going to now return us to the rules. I think at this point, all of you be broken up into a group. And then like some of the team, I'll be popping into groups just to make sure like that you're okay. But before I do that, maybe if there's any questions, anything that's confusing, like you're welcome to raise your hand and then we can just clarify something. Otherwise, like we'll connect you to the groups and then like I'll pop around just to make sure everyone's okay. Cool. If everything's clear so far, maybe you can do like a thumbs up or something just to make sure everyone's okay.
So if you're confused about the instructions, don't worry. Sam will guide you through it. The deck the link to access the deck is actually in our chat, so you can access it through there. We'll be breaking you guys up into breakout sessions in a bit. So give us 1 minute, yeah?
Yeah, so let's do the breakouts now, and then like we'll pop into the breakouts. So once you're in the breakouts, you can like you'll want to kind of turn your videos on, unmute, like chat with each other, and then perhaps one of you will share the screen with the slide that your group is on there, so you can like work on it together. Like all of you can edit the slide, but at least like you'll be able to see the same slide as you pointed it. And again, make sure you edit the slide that matches your breakout group, because otherwise you're gonna be a bit confused. Okay. trying to see how I switch rooms. Yeah, so can I be reassigned or can I resign myself? Can anyone hear me, see me? So is anyone there? So guess everyone's like getting breakfast or something and has the computer on. Let's see. Jeremy, you can hear me, right? In this group? Hi, Candice. I guess we'll go with one. Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so Jeremy, when the group connects, I guess it'd be good to just like brief them all. Are they back? I see them all unmuted. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Hi, Eddie, Candice, Emric. You can all hear me. Just want to check, are you guys set up for the exercise? Have you managed to find the link? Say hi to each other and all of that, or is it not possible to play today because you guys are all busy on something else? Okay, I think we might have one dead group then. Jeremy, if you're still here, just follow up on them if they show up.
Yep.
And then just like guide them through the process.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to a different room.
Hello, good morning. Can anyone hear me? If anyone can hear me, could you just give a reaction if you're too shy?
Morning.
Morning. Hi. Hi, Eddie. Do you understand the game?
Not really.
All right, sure. Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, I'll explain. Eddie from UK, he doesn't quite understand the game. You just go to yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Sam will be joining us very shortly.
Hey guys, is anyone here? Eddie, you here?
Yeah.
Alice, Rick. Hi, wave if you are here. I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, we can see you.
You can see me, right? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you all clear on the assignment so far? No?
I'm not quite
Ready for a
sure
quick explanation?
which slide shall I be on. Like, is it?
Okay, this is group number 2. You want to find the slide with number 2 in the top left corner, which I think should be slide number 4 in that. Let me share my screen. Then we'll pull that up. So group 2 should be on this slide. So you see the number 2 in the top left corner?
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be the slide you're in. So name your startup, read the instructions. I'll hang out in this group if you have any questions, but otherwise I'll let you all go through the journey. And if you have anything, let me know. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody here, or is it just one person?
No, I'm here.
You're here. Okay, good. All right, I'll let you carry on with it. I think you can also share screen. One of you can share the screen with that slide, so at least you can look at it together in the window. It usually works better. But if you can all see the slide on your own devices, that's also fine.
Does everyone have the screen sharing capability? All right, perfect, Eddie. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, hi guys. My name's Eddie. Let's have a startup name, okay? So we have Candice and Emric. Morning.
Morning.
Shall we choose a business type first and then we propose a startup name?
Sure. But it's easier if we have a simple introduction of like what do we do normally, so we can have a mix of ideas and we can have a like start out of our own. Yeah, because we don't know which genre, which niche we are going into, right? Could it be a tech? Could it be F&B? Because personally, I'm I'm a chiropractor actually. So for my startup, it's based on chiropractic lah. So for other stuff, I'm not quite sure. So can I have a suggestion of what kind of niche type we are going into?
Shall we do a fruit store?
What? Food is good.
Fruit store. Let's do a fruit store.
Fruit store, huh?
Okay. Then we create a name for it.
All right. Fruit store. Okay, fruit store. Let's have a mix of
Hi guys, so sorry to interrupt, but we'll be breaking out into the main hall in 10 minutes. So if you could just speed up this process, that would be great. Would you guys need some help?
We are still at the name of fruit store. Let's call and
Alright, does anyone have suggestions for the business name?
You can just put anything, right?
anything.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
So we can put maybe the fresh store.
Yep. Very nice.
Okay. How it started? Oh, so this must be filled, right? For this business.
Yep.
Okay, maybe we can propose like the customer can make their own juices. Like they got the we have the juice blender, right? And then we have like in a row there's a juice blender, so they can just buy the fruit, like they take the fruit and then they blend it themselves and then they pour themselves like a self-service thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you can help share a link of an image that you think would be good, that'll be great. So Eddie can add that in.
Hold on, let me try.
Yeah, sure.
Jeremy, how are we doing?
Hey guys, so there's 2 minutes left to do the session. You just, yeah. Sorry, say again.
How can I share the image here?
You can share it via the chat in the Zoom.
Okay, I directly paste on the slide. Do you think it's okay? Like the self-service juice station.
That's good.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, very nice.
Let me put it properly. So how is it going? How is it going? I think not maintained well, and then the staff didn't wash it like
Yep.
on
Mm.
time, and then the customer couldn't find a clean blender to use to make the blender, or they didn't replenish on time. Is it okay?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this one?
Let's get this image. Dirty blender.
Yeah, just search your dirty blender. No fruit.
Okay, let's bring it back. Yeah. And they can finish off.
Yeah, I think this is.
All right.
Oh, story then yeah. Let's just start reading that back.
Hi guys, are we done here? Is this good to go?
I
Mm.
think we need to edit all the details, right?
Yeah. Just one liner should be fine.
Yeah.
Welcome back,
Fresh
everyone.
self-service.
There's a fun so far.
Fresh.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. Is that everybody? One more group? Or
I think everyone's here, right? Let me
everyone's
see.
back here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're done with the exercise. I think I may need one of the mics in this room to mute just so we don't get the feedback. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so welcome back. So now we're going to play through what you were able to share so far. So beginning with group 1, I guess we will do that. So I'll share the screen. Everyone can see the thing now, right? Let's see. Actually, wait, no, this is the wrong slide. Actually, want the other one. Apologies. So we're actually going to this one. Presenting that. Okay. Share and then this one. Okay, so group 1, everyone can see this. Virtual round of applause. The floor is yours. Would you like to walk us through your super fail story?
Sure. Shall I take the lead then, guys?
Yep, you can all introduce yourselves as well. You know, this is a friendly interactive session. So say hi, who are you and what you do a little bit, and then you can talk through the story.
Sure. So we're from group 1. I'll go first since I already started speaking. I'm Sufiz. I am a gamification and behavioral design consultant running my own practice. Yeah, that's a bit about me. Leave it to the rest to introduce themselves.
Hello.
Hello, Amelia.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi, Anwar here. I'm an engineer working for MIC. It's a shipping company, but I've always found branding interesting, so that's why I'm here. So yeah, nice to meet everyone.
And I'm Amelia. I'm working as a management system consultant. Yeah, nice to meet all of you here today.
Awesome.
Okay.
So let's walk through your story.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, Amelia, feel free to jump in whenever if you want to add anything. So as you can see, that's something rather interesting on your screen. So our business is called I Clean, because we want to keep it local and clear what we do, which is clean. So we are a robot maid developer. So we make robot maids. So as you can see in the first picture, how it started is that we built the best high-tech home helper with a warm smile, so it's not creepy at all. You can see has a uniform and everything, and a duster ready to go. So what happens instead is that this robot is a bit too advanced. It doesn't stop cleaning, cleans too well. So you find that the robot will be cleaning in the middle of the night. You hear weird noises because it's just cleaning. So it gets kind of creepy. So even though it can clean really well, the robot has a creepy factor to homeowners. So use it once and store it forever to collect dust. So that's our super fail.
All right, thanks. Okay, like you can applaud virtually. It's a bit hard to get the same presence when we're that, but we'll try. Thanks. Let's go to the next group. We'll do a bit of discussion later. So group 2, you want a quick introduction and then walk us through what we have?
Okay. Hi guys. Morning.
Thanks,
My
group
name is
1.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie, continue, please.
Yeah, we are from the group 2. So this is the fresh store, and this is basically we are running a fresh food store with a self-service juice blender. However, it has gone down the road where it's unmaintained, it's bad hygiene, the fruits were not replenished on time. So basically it's a rundown lah.
Yeah, and end up people walk in there, didn't find a clean blender to make the juice.
Yep.
Okay, so exciting ideas, make your own juice yourself, but unfortunately the execution didn't really live up to it.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks. Next group. Wait, do you guys introduce yourselves? Or no? Group 2? Can I just say a quick hi from each of you?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Anyone else or too shy?
Hello, I'm
Shy.
Candice. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Hello, I'm Candice. I'm a fresh grad from Taylor's.
Yay. Was there anybody else or just 2 of you?
Yes, that's me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Emric. I'm currently a solutions consultant with Homa Sdn Berhad.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Let's go to the next group. Group 3, iMart.
Hi guys, Paresh here from Fit Escapes. We run a holistic wellness solution company that help corporate employers and employees stay healthy, motivated, and engaged. We have 2 teammates. So I have Jen and also Jen. You want to say hi? And
Hi, I'm Jen. I am a product consultant in Homa Sdn Berhad.
And we have Lucian.
Hi, Lucian from marksheet.com. I handle special projects for them.
Okay,
Thanks,
awesome.
Paresh.
Tell us about iMart.
Our team called iMart. So we believe in using technology to help our local neighborhood to shop better in our stores. So these stores, they replenish themselves. It's fully automatic. It's run by robots for human beings, not for robots. It's high-speed delivery. No need to chat anyone. Robot does all the work for you, and we only supply high-quality international products. And how is it going now? Is not too good. Shelves are empty. Robot is not following what we say. We broke down. The layout was a bit. It's like maze for the robot, not for humans, and unable to stock up because of course the pandemic as well. Because we only get international products, and the last but not least, the delivery system of iMart using drones. So it failed due to monsoon storms.
Maybe work better in a different country.
Good idea, huh?
Okay, great. Thanks. We'll do some analysis later. Thanks for sharing. Let's go to the last group. I think it's group 5. You want to say hi?
Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Vincent. I'm a final year student doing my internship as a risk consultant in PwC, as well as I founded myvarsityproject.com. So my group is with Puisin and Surya. You guys want to say hi?
Hi, my name is Surya. I'm doing internship at Humas 19.
Hi, this is Puishan. I'm doing business development in renovation industry.
Okay, so
the mask shop,
yeah, basically we are the mask shop. The drive to cover your face. It's extremely high
Legit, huh?
tech. You can just go in and you can get your customized face mask with the design you want, the fabric you want, and everything customized, tailored just for you. It's simple and easy to identify the brand. It's the mask shop. It's easy to know. A huge hype. Everyone loves it at the first stage. Everyone can use it. It has great success in the pandemic, and they managed to secure a lot of investment in the funding and plans to scale worldwide for it. On the operation side, everything worked well as planned. The technology is superb. And how it's going? Empty store, literally empty, self-operated, no product sold. The vaccine came out. Customers don't want a hyper customized product and they just want something to use. Yeah, that's much from us. Thank you.
Like really interesting concept, huge hype, and then like ended up didn't work. Like have you heard that before about any products we know? Maybe some of us recognize some of these patterns. Okay, thanks everyone. Like a round of applause. I'm going to switch the slide back to the main deck and then we'll talk a bit about these things so far. So just give me a second. But thank you all for sharing. So let me switch this back. All right, can we see the screen now, everyone? Yes? So we had the rules, we had action, and here we go. Okay, so first of all, thank all of you for being so sporting. Like most Zoom webinars don't usually get that interactive, so like some of you may have been underprepared, but I thought it would be a bit of fun to just get ready to interact a little bit. But on a more serious note, like I think it's worth talking a bit about like what are some of the things we learned through the exercise. First of all, we learned that we can come up with quite interesting, fun ideas in a short period of time. But I think the bigger question like that I'm hoping to address in today's session is as a founder, you know, there's different kinds of things that we can focus our attention on in any startup. And conversely, the things that the founder can choose to build are also the points at which any particular startup or company can fail. Right, so like in a very simple model, you know, you can think about three different things as you can see on this slide. You know, like you can think about building the brand or the profile of a startup. You can talk about building the actual product. You know, like earlier on, like I think Amelia had a question for the previous session. We're talking about can you build one before the other, and then ultimately that's the thing I want to talk about a bit today, which is about building customer value. And so if you think about some of the examples we just saw, right? I think we think about like AI Clean and like to some extent Mask Shop. Right, you know, like quite strong like ideas, you know, like the product was kind of working, but you know, like ultimately it was a disconnect with what people would use and what they cared about that caused the company to fail, right? And one of the reasons this is important to note is that, you know, like one of the challenges that many startups fall into is there's this tension between like I need to make my product. You come up with the idea for a product, you want to build it, you want to make sure that it works. You have all the ideas for the features you can do for it, but it's also a question of like how relevant is this to my customer, right? And a very common trap that many startups fall into is actually like you really focus on building the product, but not enough customer development has been done. I'll explain what customer development is later, right? And this is what happens. So what commonly happens is that let's say you start in the bottom left on the red line, right? You will build the full product first, and then oh crap, it doesn't really work. Then you come back down, you kind of have to start again, you build it up again. Every time you build up, you get a little more relevant to your customer because you've learned some things. But this is a long and often like costly process. You know, like startups usually die because they run out of resources, and if this takes this long, often you'll find that the effort dies quickly. So a lot of people talk about what they call lean startup, which is actually saying instead of trying to build everything first, you kind of like build small minimum viable products that kind of like get your way bit by bit towards that goal. So you focus on like, how can we build something small that we can test with, and then you build upon then hopefully you get towards greater customer relevance. So this session, we're going to focus on, so we can think about 3 things that you could build, right? We can think about like the brand, you know, like earlier on, like Edmund and Sat spoke a lot about brand. Of course, a lot of what Bawatana's day today at Sprout is about talking about building the brand. We can also talk about building the product and how do you focus on that, right? So this today is not going to be focused so much on the product because a lot of you come from very different kinds of startups and different industries, and the nature of building a product is going to be quite different. So I'll leave the brand conversations to the other sessions, but today's session we're going to focus on the customer value aspect. Okay, and one of the key headlines that I think we can all think about is sometimes when we talk about brand and product, you know, like there's a bit of what I call hero thinking that can happen, right? Hero thinking is when, you know, like because I'm so obsessed about figuring out what am I about, what's my brand about, what are my values. It's very, you have to do that. You have to look inwards, but sometimes looking inwards, you lose touch of the bigger context that you're in. And similarly with the product, you know, like I used to work at Samsung. Like if you're an engineer on TVs, you're always obsessed with like, how can we get better contrast ratios? How do we get more pixels? What is the efficiency of the thing? But the problem with that is that there's not always the things that are going to make customers find them relevant. And so today we're going to talk a bit about the customer value aspect of it, which I think of as set thinking. So instead of hero thinking being my product it's all about my product, it's all about my brand, really thinking about how does my product fit into the set of the customer's life. So the customer's world, the customer's life, they do all these different things. How does my product fit in there, and how does it actually enhance the life of my customer? Okay, so in some ways, some people call this being a bit about being product-centric versus customer-centric. So this is a fairly narrow example, you know, but like in tomato ketchup, same product, right? But thinking about the customer and how they use it, you know, like those of us who've ever tried to use the glass bottles, you know, like you know that the common problem is that they get stuck and you have to kind of do this thing, right? But you kind of like to smash it, and sometimes you end up putting too much sauce out. And so that kind of created this small tweak where the inside product is largely the same, but you have something that actually create like this is more valuable and usable for the customer, you know, like, and sometimes in a high stakes situation, like if you have a white shirt on or something, you know, like the product that's not customer centric can sometimes create a lot of embarrassment and problems, right? So we're going to talk a bit about like how do we shift a bit from being the hero to being the set. Okay, so what does this look like? One place I'll start is just the world for somebody depends on who you are, and like it really centers upon your view, right? So when we think of the world, you know, like we often think about the land area and all that, but if you're a fish, your world is really built around the ocean, and like our experiences of the world are all centered around where we are. And you know, in the context of we have customers, each customer is going to have quite different views of the world, and it's important we learn how to enter them. And conversely, as if we're founders trying to build something, we have to recognize that we also sometimes are fish, and we're thinking about the water of our product, of our brand, but not really engaging with the worlds of our customers. And if you're a fish and you've always spent your entire life in water, you don't even realize that water is water because it's all you've ever known. And it's quite common that, you know, like if we're so immersed in something, or it's the only approach we've known, that we don't realize what alternatives there could be, right? You know, like this can be something as simple as maybe like someone who's male doesn't really understand some of the challenges of being female because you've not had that direct experience. And sometimes we underestimate just how much of a shift in what people care about, what are the pain points in these perspectives that can come out because of that. So really the challenge for founders is how do we enter the world and think about like the customer's world is different from mine. How do we learn to enter it and almost become native in it? A successful product is something that almost becomes a natural part of the world of your customer. You know, like now when we see Google, the dictionary, it's no longer even uppercase anymore. You know, like you can almost use Google as a lowercase like thing because it's become such a natural part of people's lives. Okay, and the thing is that once you enter people's stories, right, you realize that like in everybody's story, they are the hero, they are the center of what their story is. And part of what we need to do in building products is to think about how do we build products that don't try and become the hero in their story, but actually make them the hero, but make them a better hero, right? So like the products are not about being James Bond. You actually want to be more like Q, who is the enabler that helps James Bond to be the successful secret agent James Bond that he is. People don't buy products directly. Like what people are really buying is, what did this product help me to become? So like if we're talking about like Nike, for example, yes, there are shoes, but it's not really about the shoes. I'm buying a version of myself that is more athletic, that's more motivated. Maybe like in some cases that's more hip because I have the latest set of Jordans or other things like that. So as founders, how do we ask ourselves, like what are the possible versions of my customers or users or stakeholder that my product enables them to bridge to? So, Google has, for example, it's not not everybody remembers what the page looks like, but Google has enabled people to now become some sort of a genius, if you like. If you spoke 50 years ago to people and said, now you can look up anything you want in the world in your hand, right? People have thought you're crazy, but today we live in that world, and it's made possible because of that, right? Of course, not all the news you look up online is correct, right? That's a different story, right? But Google has created different versions of what people can be, right? So it's really not what your product is, but it's about where the product can get you as a user. Another example I'll talk about is like silent vacuum cleaners. So like vacuum cleaner engineering for a long time was all about suction power. How do you clean as effectively as possible? How do you get everything out? How do you ensure you have the most suction power? I.e., how much can you suck, right? But what some research did was actually they found that in a lot of cases, people were cleaning, they sometimes had to plan when they were cleaning, because the vacuum cleaners, if you think vacuum cleaners today are noisy, they used to be much noisier. There was centralized kinds of power. And so realizing that the customer value was actually in being silent, because that meant that the customer could become somebody who could always have access to cleaning without having to worry about being rude to their neighbors if they live in an apartment, or in a place like Japan where sometimes some people are very considerate, and so also sometimes the walls are quite thin, right? This was a really powerful factor. So what are some of these hidden aspects of being useful to the customer that don't naturally occur to a product engineering or a branding point of view? And thinking about a set is the most successful set is one that becomes invisible. A lot of the most successful technologies around us, running water, electricity, things like that, are things that kind of we almost take for granted, right? But to get into that level takes a lot of work. And so part of the challenge for founders is, how do we do something that you can almost imagine the users being so normal with that it becomes a natural part of their life? And how do you make it in such a way that the user's attention is not necessarily focused on, wow, this is such a cool product, or this is such a useful thing, but this is such a normal thing that becomes a part of my life. But in a way, because of this normal thing, I am more successful. Maybe it's an investment planner that allows the user to suddenly feel without having to spend much more energy, all my investments become a bit smarter because I have the information in the palm of my hand. So it's not just about being the hero, it's about learning to become the set. And I'll close off with this quote from Maya Angelou, right, which talks about it's if you think 10, 15 years from now, sometimes we forget the products we did or what the advertisement said, right? But the moment of the product making us into something that we thought we couldn't be before is really powerful. So maybe it's about we saw an ad from Grab earlier that says oh, now I can go around KL at any time without feeling I'm in trouble because I won't be able to get a taxi or I can't access myself around. So what new life can we enable customers to have? And this can be for customers on a B2C level, but also for businesses. Maybe a business that does not have the capacity to build their own websites now is able to manage all of that themselves because of a product that you built, right? So who do you help your customers to become and act as because of this? So to close, what sort of hero will your product enable your customers to become? So instead of being the hero, how do you become the enabler of your customers becoming the hero? What sort of heroes do your customers want to become? Not all customers want the same thing. Some customers care more about being efficient and effective. Some care more about doing things for them and automation. So entering the world of that customer. And what terms do your customers see that on? We spoke about in AI cleaning earlier today, right? What works really well from a product perspective may actually end up being creepy or untasteful or distasteful for our customers. So like, how do we begin to like enter the customer's world and see it in those ways? So I think that's it. Like we're just about on time, but I think we have maybe like 10-15 minutes for Q&A and discussion if you like. So since we've all warmed up a little bit, like feel free to ask questions in the chat or also like on video. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Sam. I'm sure the participants had a lot of fun for this session. Okay, so we're just gonna open the floor to questions for the next 5 minutes because I realize we're running late and the rest of the sessions can't start late anyway. So does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute and speak out, or video if you're brave. Otherwise, feel free to type it in our chat. Anybody?
Everyone's hungry?
Are you guys too hungry? Maybe someone's typing.
I'm still formulating my question, but it's along the lines of, so if you wanted to, because basically what you're saying is that whatever products should have been designed with the user in mind. And I understand that the first step you should look into is putting yourself in their shoes, rather than focus on the features, focus on the fit and their situation. But aside from just looking at because it's very hard to put yourself in their shoes sometimes, are there like some clear steps or directions that you can follow to kind of help with that process? Because it is a creative process in some ways. It's not a technical process, more of a creative one. So is there any like way to kind of smoothen that design process? Sorry, I haven't really formulated a question, but that's kind of where I'm getting at.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is like methods of like customer development, customer research. How do you enter the world of the customer? The first step, I think, is just recognizing that the world is different. So like A is not assuming. B is looking for creative like analogs or windows in. Like, so sometimes it's just about sitting in that world, in that room. So you're trying to find out, like, let's say you're Kedai Rujit, trying to understand how people shop for stuff, right? I used to, one of my jobs used to actually be like, we would follow people around like stores, like observing how they behave. Sometimes we would talk to them, right? So like learning to listen and observe in the native habitat is often like one of the most powerful ways, right? So like a lot of people talk about focus groups, but one of the challenge or limitations of focus groups is in a focus group, it's an artificial environment. People are coming into there. You've invited them, you're providing cookies. A lot of times they will tell you things, and especially in a place like Malaysia, people are polite, people want to be invited back, so they want to make you happy. They'll tell you what you want to hear and what's actually true. So the more you can enter their native world, if you want to like understand what it's like to be a fish, don't do it like in an aquarium. Go to the ocean, right? So go out there, go into the wild, immerse yourself, and like there's also a lot of really good work in like maybe in like sometimes like journalism profiles that go inside the world. Like there's an art of the interview. How do you unpack some of that? Like but so sometimes you need to think of it like a secret agent or like a detective, and how do you enter that world and almost disguise into it. Of course, there's also different like agencies and skill sets for that, right? Like people who do some work in like maybe in like psychology or research will also be trained in some of these methods. But really, it's about understanding that's a different world, and the more I can unlearn what I think I know and enter that and try to almost become native and learn it from scratch, right? So like if you're trying to learn a new language, sometimes one of the best ways is like kids just go in there and they start to act as though that's normal for them. So sometimes that can be useful to do as well. There's also like more advanced methods, like some designers have done things where if you're trying to imagine what it's like to be a 75-year-old person driving a car, they will actually wear a suit with like a blurry kind of like goggles and like really heavy things so that they feel like everything is slower to do it. So depending on the kind of learning you're trying to do, you can engage some of these approaches.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sam. Okay.
So sorry guys, we're just gonna have to end it there. Thanks so much, Sam, for
Thanks everyone.
being part of this session. I think that everybody had a ball for this one. Okay, so